Since launching Project PA earlier this year, we've received countless calls from you, our viewers, who want to share their stories.
That's right, and tonight we introduce you to the Bolzans, a family who moved to Pennsylvania to get treatment for their teenage son. Now, they claim that they're caught in a medical nightmare and fear children and youth could take away custody of their son. Here's Brian Sheehan.
In October of last year, Connie and Ray Bolzan uprooted their family from New Jersey and settled here in York County. We met them on two separate occasions over the course of the past 2.5 months.
We thought we were doing the right thing for Alex so that he can start making the progress that the area of New Jersey we were living in didn't afford him.
It was Connie's idea to move here, but she says that idea and ultimate decision turned their lives into a living hell.
An absolute nightmare, the worst decision, the worst thought I ever presented to my family.
That's because the Bolzans fear Alex won't be with them for much longer.
York County Children and Youth have found that we are child abusers before there's even a final outcome of anything, and they have put us on the Pennsylvania State Registry now.
What are you doing now?
This is Alex.
Good.
Alex was diagnosed with autism when he was about 27 months old.
Now 16, he also suffers from a long and well-documented list of medical conditions. Yeah, how you doing?
Good.
Good. The Bolzans have been under investigation by York County Children and Youth since February. Alex had been at a local hospital for about a month and a half at that point. He was weak, couldn't walk, and wasn't appearing to gain weight, even though he had a feeding tube.
And I just kept saying, well, where's the diagnosis? What are we doing? He's laying here in bed. I could do this at home, let him lay in bed.
Connie says the hospital couldn't come up with a concrete diagnosis, but her mother's instinct told her something else was going on, so she called in a second opinion.
We asked to see specialists for our son just to get an opinion, because now we're like, we still don't have an answer. What's going on? And I was presented with a behavior agreement.
A behavior agreement is a form that, if Connie signed, would give the hospital control over Alex's treatment plan. But she didn't sign the form, and says that's when she thinks someone made that initial call to Children and Youth Services.
You take your child in for health care, and they turn things around, and next thing you know, you're being investigated.
This is out of it's Children Youth Services. Right. I have a paper here for Alexander.
Connie captured the moment the county constable served them with the papers weeks after the investigation got underway.
We were charged with, someone phoned in, malnutrition and medical neglect.
They enlisted the help of local attorney Alina Ducharme.
CYS has basically said, we don't agree with your choice to take the child to a second doctor, and we should now get involved to make those decisions for you.
The Bolzans say they also learned there was a possibility Alex could be placed into foster care. That realization was too much for Connie to bear.
He would never survive. He would give up the will to live. I would give up the will to live.
In April, the couple was ordered to appear before a judge for the first part of their dependency hearing.
From my perspective, it didn't go as well for CYS as they anticipated. I thought we left that hearing with some confidence that this dependency proceeding would go well for my clients.
It's scheduled to continue later this summer. But just days after the first hearing, the Bolzans were met with a major setback.
So, what happened next? Part 2 of our story airs Thursday night at 11 o'clock.
Now, we don't mention the hospital by name, but you did talk to the hospital?
I did, and the Bolzans were very clear. They wanted the hospital to comment on why they made that initial call, but the hospital told me that due to federal laws on patient privacy, they're not illegally allowed to comment on the case.
So they essentially, they just can't defend these actions as to why they thought CYS could be called because of like HIPAA rules, things like that?
Yeah, that is exactly right. It's just as simple as HIPAA rules. They're not allowed to do it federally, so they cannot defend themselves. So this case is far from over, so we'll keep you posted on everything as it moves through the system. But again, part 2 airs Thursday night at 11 o'clock.
Stay on top of it for us, Brian.
Absolutely, we'll
you.
keep you posted.
Appreciate it.